But the other, just to mention the third theory that I discussed, that's differences in testosterone levels.
Oh yeah, yes,
And so a number of people have written about this. I
yes.
mentioned the
Ellis.
anthropologist Lee Ellis, who wrote a
Yeah,
big review in 2017. Now, the theory in the case of testosterone is very straightforward. Men commit vastly more violent crime than women. Most
right.
differences between men and women in behavior can be traced back to men's higher testosterone levels, which during puberty, manifest themselves in all sorts of different ways in the body and in the brain.
Hmm.
So it would stand to reason that any group, any racial or ethnic group that had high testosterone levels would be more like men and less like women in terms of its
Right,
criminal propensities.
right,
Now, there are some puzzles and um, uh, phenomena that are hard for this theory to explain. As Alice notes, there's some evidence that East Asians have similar levels of free testosterone to Black Africans. Not again, the data are not doesn't seem to be a very high quality data in this, or at least there wasn't at the
right,
time when Ellis wrote his paper. But
right.
he suggests that even if this is true, it doesn't lead to sort of equal masculinization levels across those two racial groups because of difference in receptor and sensitivity to testosterone. He suggests that
Right.
even if blacks and Asians have similar levels in their bloodstreams, the hormone exerts its effect to a much greater extent in Black Africans because of differences in the androgen receptors. I
Right.
mean,
And just
it's clear that, or at least it seems pretty obvious that on average, Black people are more muscular, for example, than
right.
East Asian people. West
Right. And
Africans,
that
I'm talking about.
just to be clear, like that's I mean it could be, but it's not just an ad hoc story because obviously receptors matter too. So for
Yeah,
example, if I and two other people smoke a cigarette, we may have an equal amount of nicotine in our bodies, but it may make us feel very differently
yeah,
because of different receptors. And
absolutely.
that's important. Uh, and also, I would say, from what I remember, it's been a while since I read that Ellis piece, he's quite forthright about the shortcomings of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So,
he doesn't
yeah,
overstate the case at all. If anything, he slightly understates it.
right.
I mean,
So,
as a side point, one could also mention that, for example, like Africans from East Africa, like Kenya and Somalia, don't seem to at least exhibit the same kind of physical masculinization
right.
as West Africans do. And yet, the crime data we have on those groups is not very flattering.
Right. So, yeah. So, I originally thought testosterone would be the key to this problem
Yeah,
back in 2015, 16, and then when this came out. I'm no longer so persuaded of that. What is more, this is another case where the testosterone theory that might be the mediator of these other traits.
yeah,
So it's not really an alternative theory because let's suppose that we say, well, it's impulsivity and some of these other antisocial characteristics. Those have to be caused by something.
yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned that point in the article that the various theories are by no means mutually exclusive. And so, also
Exactly.
family breakdown and IQ are not mutually exclusive because
That is a fact. That
IQ
is true.
affects the kind of long-term planning that
Right.
sometimes, or indeed often, influences family behavior and durability, etc.
Navigating a marriage requires 130
Yeah.
upstairs at least. But
Um,
yes,
so
yes.
yeah, my conclusion is basically that probably poverty, family breakdown, certainly IQ, certainly antisocial personality, culture, and possibly testosterone all play a role. Their exact contributions remain to be seen. If I had to
I
kind
like
of weight them, I would suggest that IQ and antisocial personality are probably among the more important.
you're being a regular intellectual Oprah. Everybody gets a prize here. Every theory is just a little
participation medal analysis.
But yeah, so you do say though, or it seems to me it makes it clear that some of these are more likely to explain more of the disparity than others. So I think there are two important things, I suppose, about this that are extraneous. Well, extraneous is too strong of a word, but they're not entirely empirical questions. They're about the empirical question. One is, why don't people talk about this more since it's such an important social problem? And two is, what recommendations might a fair-minded analysis of this lead to? So let's just, on point one, I think it's very difficult, and I'm sure you agree with this, to speak about these disparities honestly without appearing to be making invidious comparisons.
Right.
Because obviously having a high violent crime rate is unflattering. It's not something one would applaud in their favored tribe or group, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
to watch the full interview or to listen to it as an audio podcast, become a subscriber at aporiamagazine.com.